And good evening and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Wrestling. My name is Ralph Williams, and by telephone is Smokin' Jim Frazier. And tonight we have a lot to talk about in the wrestling world, including we have a wrestling Hall of Famer and legend who is currently hospitalized for an illness. We'll talk about that. We have two top tens once again tonight. And we also have our Where Are They Now person, and also talk about Raw, SmackDown, the breakup of the bloodline. Where does the bloodline go from here? So on and so forth, and all kinds of stuff going on tonight. So, Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. This is a great time to be a wrestling fan. A lot's happening right now, brother.
Absolutely, it is. It is big time. And I tell you what, they have some great matches set up for the Elimination Chamber. We'll talk about that as well. That'll be next Saturday, and we'll talk about that. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Let's get our wrestling news first. I want to send my prayers to the family and also to the family of Jerry the King Lawler. In case you're not aware, he had a stroke this past week, and they say he's recovering okay, but he's still hospitalized for a stroke. So Jerry the King Lawler, Smokin' Jim, is.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
sorry.
Ralph. Not to cut off your monologue, but didn't we just see Jerry on wrestling recently?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
This just happened over
yeah.
the weekend. Yeah, so
Wow. Yeah, a few weeks ago, he was either on SmackDown or Raw. He
Raw.
did a
Yeah, he
nice
was on the
job
Raw
there.
30th anniversary. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Yes.
was
Yes.
on there. Yes, yes, indeed. All right, let's get started with WWE wrestling news. Booker T is officially retiring from wrestling. He was involved in the Royal Rumble match this past weekend, and last weekend. So he was just involved in the Royal Rumble match. Says he's done. He's hanging up the tights. No more Booker T. What's your thoughts on that, Smokin' Jim?
Yeah, I kind of thought he was retired at all already. He was doing a lot of work with the microphone as a commentator,
Yeah.
and so
Well, he's
I
still going
was
to be doing
surprised.
that. He's just not going to be wrestling
Yeah,
anymore. So,
yeah, I think that's a good decision, probably.
All right. WWE has made a statement this week that they have planning on no longer having house shows. Supposedly, Smoke and Jim, the house shows are not drawing enough fans and wrestlers are getting injured. What do you think about this?
Now, what is a house show?
Okay, a house show is like, for instance, when it doesn't involve Raw and SmackDown, and let's say they have like once in a while, at my second city up in Erie, they have a Raw or not a Raw, they have a house show, which is just a live event that is, that's not Raw or SmackDown. They call those house shows. That's what they call
Oh, okay,
it. Okay.
okay. I know the wrestlers came to my college when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Pusky and some of them put on a great show, so I guess that would be
A
considered a
house
house
show.
show.
Yes, a house show.
So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed in that because I know they can't be everywhere
Right.
at all
Right.
times, but that meant a lot to us to see, legendary, people that we don't get to see every day coming to our college. So that was great.
Yeah, like when I worked at Stage AE Smoking Jim, I used to enjoy the NXT live shows, and they used to have house
Okay,
shows, and
okay.
they stopped doing it when COVID hit, and then you know how that changed the whole complexity of everything, COVID-19. So as you know, I always call it COVID. I sound like somebody burping in a plastic bag or something. But it's funny the way I see it, and I have my own, I have my own style of saying it. COVID. All right, Bray Wyatt has indicated that he has a broken finger, and guess what? It was from a live event. He went up against Jinder Mahal, and he has a broken finger. So Bray Wyatt cannot wrestle at this time. He's not medically cleared until broken finger situation, which happened after Royal Rumble because they had a house show somewhere and he broke his finger. Bayley showed up last night at an NXT event, and guess what happened? Toxic Attraction broke up. How you like that one last night?
Wow.
Yeah, she had her.
Wow.
Yeah, she caused a rift between the last two ladies that are left in that toxic attraction, which was headed up by your girlfriend Mandy Rose there, and so. But next, Riddle still on suspension from the WWE. Don't know when he's coming back. There was a rumor he was supposed to be back by Royal Rumble. Of course, there were lots of rumors of people coming back. Randy Orton was supposed to come back too. That hasn't happened. Still no timetable on him. Big E and Riddle. Those are the three guys that basically there's no timetable yet set. Just rumors as to when they're coming back. When they do, you'll know about it here on Talking Wrestling and on our Wrestle Sports Talk show on Blog Talk Radio tomorrow night, 7:30. We're on for 1 hour tomorrow night. Once again, Smokin' Jim. How about that, huh?
Wow, I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, we're on for another hour tomorrow night. We're going to start at 7:30 and we'll be done at 8:30. Myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Mark Mancini, 347-205-9631. And I'm doing shows everywhere, and I'm on 6 days a week, including our Sports Corner show every Saturday at 5 o'clock on PCTV.
There's 7 days in a week. How come you ain't on 7 days a week?
You know what? I had shows on Sunday. When I first started doing this podcast stuff, Smokin' Jim, I was doing shows on Sunday.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I took them off Sundays because everybody, I guess, I wasn't getting a lot of fanfare. I figured I'd do it during the week. Sunday's a day of rest for people. They like to watch sporting activities and stuff. They don't want to be watching my show, that kind of thing. And then at night, kids got to go to school in the morning. Daddy's got to, he got to go. Somebody's got to go to work. You know how that is. Remember a few years back when Art Rooney II was complaining. They get off wrestling just a bit. Art Rooney II was complaining about those Sunday night games, saying that the fans don't draw, and they really don't. Because when I worked at Acrisure Stadium, formerly known as Heinz Field, I should just call it the place formerly known as Heinz Field. How's that? So anyway, he said a few years back he was crying and complaining about these Sunday night games. It was hurting the Steelers because a lot of people don't go to those games because they got to get up for work in the morning. Some of these people got to drive 2-3 hours into town to watch the game, and then 2-3 hours to go home. They're staggering into work Monday morning. So
hey, I don't, me, I don't care. They're there for my entertainment. Special athletes are just pieces of meat, in my opinion, brother. They're there to entertain me.
Well, before we get back to wrestling, I got one more thing. You know what I used to always say? When the Steelers lose, everybody will be at work on time Monday morning. But when the Steelers win, they're late for work because they stay out and party afterwards.
That's true. That is true.
All right, let's get back to this here. Saturday, during the NXT pay-per-view, Apollo Crews thought there was going to be a reunion with Commander Aziz. Commander Aziz showed up and he helped Apollo Crews, but then he backstabbed him. So I'm hearing now that the storyline with this is going to be a Commander Aziz against Apollo Crews. What do you think about this?
I think the Commander will destroy Apollo Crews. He's a strong man. I used to like when they went up against Omos that time.
Yeah, that was an interesting match.
Two big giants there, but I'm a little surprised about that. I think Apollo Crews will be out of his element there.
Braun Breaker defended his title and won. He beat Grayson Waller. And you and I had a discussion last night. We were going over tonight's show a little bit last night before Sports Corner. And I had told you about Grayson Waller being suspended because he decided to go and harass Shawn Michaels. And they got into it. And Shawn Michaels says, you're suspended. So Grayson Waller, he's another Theory. He's another, Austin Theory. He's another MJF. He thinks his doo-doo don't stink. And he thinks that, the whole world revolves around him. Well, still got Braun Breaker with the title there, Grayson. So I don't think that's going to be the situation. I've seen Grayson Waller beat Apollo Crews. So he is a good wrestler, but he just has that same attitude. And he has a bad habit of sticking his foot in his mouth, just like Austin Theory and MJF. MJF last week on Dynamite stuck his foot in his mouth, and tonight he's got to wrestle. So you know what? That's what happens when you stick your foot in your mouth. And, Austin Theory ought to know a little bit of something about that. And he did it again on Monday night, stuck his foot in his mouth. So, I mean, so that happened as well. So he has been suspended. Okay, wrestling news, AEW. Keith Lee, as you know, has been injured. Him and Swerve Strickland broke up. Swerve attacked him with him and his cronies in his new little faction there. They attacked him with some concrete blocks. He will return soon, and we'll go after Swerve. So we're gonna see how that works out. Some more backstage fights happening once again. Swerve Strickland and Ricky Starks had it out in the back again. I gotta say this, Smokin' Jim, and I'm going to be on tonight with Tampa at 10:30 with myself, Mark Mancini, and Peter Blake. And sooner or later, we're going to get you on the show. I have to talk to Peter Blake, but I'm sure he'll love having you on as well. But this is the third backstage incident involving wrestlers at AEW. They have to nip this in the butt. What do you think about this, Smokin' Jim?
Well, I don't know what you're going to do, man. You got some of the most competitive athletes in the world, and they're combat sport athletes. So tempers is going to flare. People are going to get upset, and what can you do, man? You're going to have fights, man.
Oh yeah,
and it's sad. All you can do is suspend them, take money away, try to discourage it the best you can. But I don't think you'll ever get rid of it.
They've tried to have two leaders. They tried with Kenny Omega, and then they tried with Chris Jericho. And I understand Jericho and Omega are trying to get a little sense of order in the back. But it hasn't happened. Tony Khan, I blame him for this because he started all this with that CM Punk incident, and then it's unbelievable, how this is going on there, and it like you said, it happens in football, happens in baseball, happens in all sports. So I mean, even happens in yachting.
Well, if I was in charge, I would just let the K9 dogs loose, man. They break up everything, but we got a sensitive country, man. They don't like that. So K9 dogs break up everything, fella.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, Samoa Joe reclaimed his TNT title. He beat Darby Allin. ROH tapings will begin this week in Orlando. They are starting new TV tapings to be put on a channel coming up soon. We're not sure yet what national channel or what channel they're going to be putting ROH on. Last time they were on the CW, and they were on the 22 The Point here in Pittsburgh. So I'm not exactly sure where they're going to put their TV tapings, but they're starting in Orlando. And all wrestlers on AEW who are not part of the AEW shows at all will work ROH shows. What's your thoughts on that, Smokin' Jim?
That sounds good, man. It's a start. It's a good idea. Let's see, what the fans think about it. But I kind of like it.
It's going to be great to see the return of ROH, and it's going to be interesting to see some of these wrestlers. And another thing, too, how we talked about that there's too many wrestlers in AEW, too many people unhappy, things like that. I think this will stop that. I think Tony Khan was smart to buy ROH and nip this in the butt. And now, by putting it in a separate entity, that's the best thing he could have done because he still has too many wrestlers, too much fat on the bone, and and there's not enough room on the bone for all the fat. So what's happening is a lot of wrestlers are getting disgusted and they're leaving and they're getting upset. So I think now you could basically please some of these guys by having them perform in ROH, and I think this is a good idea, and I think it's going to work. All right, NWA, real quick, Smokin' Jim, not a lot here. They have a pay-per-view coming up called Enough Said this coming Saturday. Matt Cardona versus Tyrus for the NWA title. In case you don't know who Matt Cardona is, formerly known as Zack Ryder, the Long Island IC in the WWE. He got released in 2016. He's been or 17, I think it was. He's been performing elsewhere for a long time in the independents, back and forth with NWA, AEW, and Impact. Uh, and Tyrus is the former part of the Funkadelics. He was the big heavy set guy. What was Tyrus? I'm trying to remember his name. He was part of the Funkadelics. Um, uh, Brodus Clay. Remember Brodus Clay? Yeah, that's Tyrus. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, yeah. Impact is going to be teaming up with a New Japan Pro Wrestling and announced a co-produced show on March 30th, and that will be televised on the Access TV with Impact Wrestling. Okay, Smokin' Jim, let's get into our Raw talk part of the segment here, and we're going to talk about this this past week's Raw episode, and let's get into that. All right, we'll talk about the first match: Angelo Dawkins versus Damian Priest. This was a qualifying match for Elimination Chamber. Looks like Damian Priest is in it. What was your thoughts on this match?
It was a tough match. It went, pretty good. It was hard to really tell who was going to win, but the results was inevitable, I think.
Yeah, I'm hearing stories that the Street Profits might be breaking up because I think Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, I think they're going to team up, but they're going to be one of them teams that's going to do separate things as well. We've seen teams do that in the past.
I think Montez Ford, his star is really on the rise right now.
Yes.
And then he has the power couple with EST, which I didn't know about until you told me. But the guy's just a talent. I mean, the way he flies around and flips off the top rope and into knocking the guy out in the aisle there. I mean, that's and then he has some good closing flips where he pins the guy and closes him out. So his star is really, really on the rise right now. So I could see him going solo.
Okay, Baron Corbin versus Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis beat him. JBL got frustrated with him in the back. He's ditched him. I was told, and there was a rumor circulating this was happening, but I was waiting for it too before I brought it out, and it happened Monday night on Raw. What do you think of this?
Well, you called another one of your many, many, many predictions that came true. I didn't see it when you were predicting it. I thought JBL with his height, Baron Corbin with his height, and their chemistry together. I thought they'd be together for a while, but you predicted that they would break up. And JBL.
I told you what's happening.
Yeah.
He was losing too many matches. He was, embarrassing them. I mean, come on, JBL's a Hall of Famer and he's a stockbroker and he's made his money in stock and wrestling over the years and things like that. And yeah, I mean, he has a reputation he has to keep. All right.
Well, I hope Baron Corbin don't fall apart again. It looks like he might. He was a little sad.
You should have seen the look on his face. Yeah, he gets his car towed away, and all of a sudden he hits in Vegas. Yeah, all of a sudden there you go. Yeah, we'll see what they come up with him next. So but anyway, the next one, Carmella Piper Niven, formerly known as Dewdrop, Mia Yim, and Candice LeRae in a fatal four-way for an opportunity at the Elimination Chamber, and guess who won? Carmella.
My baby.
That's it.
Baby.
That's it. Carmella won, and she's going to be involved in that. And then Piper Niven cornered Candice LeRae in the back, angry with her because of what happened, and she didn't get it and all this and that. Started taking it out on her, that kind of thing. So we're going to see what goes on there. Alpha Academy versus Benjamin and Alexander. Now, I want to say this. I was watching an interview and I saw MVP talking to Alexander and Benjamin in the back there. You could see them. And I said, looks like the Hurt Business is starting to get back together. So he went out with them and they won. They beat the Alpha Academy. And it's looking like piece by piece. It looks like the the Hurt Business is coming back. I like the Hurt Business. I liked them when they were together the first time. This time, I believe Omos is going to be part of it. So you're going to see 4 guys instead of 3. And Lashley, we haven't seen anything from him yet about it, but he got F5 by Brock Lesnar this past Monday night. Brock baited him out with a contract. He said, "Here, I got a multi-million-dollar contract right here for you and I at the Elimination Chamber." And they are going to fight. That's one of the great matches they have set up, as well as Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn also. So that's going to be those are going to be great matches, and then the 2 Elimination Chamber matches. And who knows, maybe something will come up this coming week because it's next Saturday. There might be some other matches going on as well. What do you think about the what do you think about the Hurt Business coming back?
You know what? I'm all for it. This powers in numbers, and the MVP is a great mouthpiece. You need that. He's equivalent to Paul Heyman. Those type of guys are very invaluable.
Right.
And if he can get Omos and Bobby Lashley to join in, that'll be a powerful foursome.
Oh yeah, Asuka took on Chelsea Green. You know, Chelsea Green hasn't been winning any matches since she came back. That's Matt Cardona's wife, and she was with Impact, and her contract ran out. WWE re-signed her. She was with NXT for a little while there, and even part of the WWE roster. She was let go last year. She signed with Impact. Her contract ran out. She became a free agent. WWE scooped her up. She hasn't won any matches yet. Asuka beat her. You know, she's been crying the blues about she can wrestle, and Adam Pearce been putting her in matches, but she's not winning any. So, I mean, you know, Elias versus Montez Ford. Montez won this match against Elias, which I thought was going to happen. Now he's the last member of the Elimination Chamber. What do you think about this?
Well, I just, like we said before, I just think Montez Ford is his time. I really think it's his time to go solo. You know, maybe try to win one of those belts. His popularity is on the rise. He's in there with the EST of, you know, and so, and I just like, you know, he's healthy. I like the moves that he does. I like his clothing. I like I like his outfits. I like the way he caters to the home crowd. So whatever city. So I think it's his time, man. So he needs to make the most of it.
Absolutely. All right, we'll talk about SmackDown last Friday night. You know, the interesting part about this past Friday's SmackDown was the situation between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, and it came to a big time thing when Roman Reigns was outside there in the ring talking away, and here comes Sami Zayn after him, but it didn't last long, of course. You know, Sikoa and Jimmy Uso got involved in it, and Roman Reigns had the chair wrapped around him, and Sikoa was getting ready to do his dad's little butt thing, you know, because their fathers were Keishi, and you know, the stink face or whatever they used to call it, and you know, so they were getting ready to do that, and you know, he said no, and Roman Reigns guy grabbed his face and said, "I'll see you at Elimination Chamber," and so there we are, Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. You knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I said it was coming. What do you think of this?
Well, again, it's another one of your predictions I didn't see coming. I really thought Sami Zayn made a great name for himself with the bloodline, but you called it. And now Sami gets a chance to wrestle for the world championship.
Yeah, the Braun Strowman Ricochet beat Imperium. That was a pretty interesting match there. You know, considering the fact Strowman and Ricochet now are going to get an opportunity at the Usos. What do you think is going to happen Friday with this match with the Usos? Do you think Jay will show up? And if so, can they work together as a team based on the fact that Jay walked away? and there's been jabbing going on the entire time on Twitter. All the Roman, Jay, and Jimmy been going back and forth. What do you think is going to actually happen Friday?
Well, I think Jay will reappear, but I don't think when they were at the top of their game, they could beat the opponents that they're going to wrestle. That weekend. I think they're going to get beat. I think it's time for them to go down. Maybe if Solo or somebody comes through and help them out, but you got Braun Strowman and Flippy. That's a great combination.
Yeah.
And when Strowman puts him on top of his shoulders and Flippy flips off and onto the guy to pin him, man. It's hard to beat that combination. So I don't think the Usos has ever would have been able to beat that combination of Braun Strowman and Flippy.
Yeah, then we saw another Charlotte Flair, Sonya Deville waste of time match. You knew it was coming. Charlotte Flair was going to beat Sonya Deville. She keeps trying and crying. So we'll let that go on.
Nice outfit. Sonya Deville had a nice outfit.
Oh, she did. Yes. Yes, I will say she did. Yes, absolutely. And Natalia, she won the fatal four-way match to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And then, Carmella qualified for the last entry into the chamber this past Monday night. But next week, or this coming Friday, we are going to find out what is really going on here with this bloodline situation. We're going to see what's going on with Jimmy Uso. Will he be there? That's the mystery of this whole thing. Will Sami Zayn get involved again? We're going to find out. And you know what's interesting, Smokin' Jim? I think that Sami Zayn's going to be a thorn in Roman Reigns' side until he gets what he wants, and that's the championship. Do you think Sami Zayn has any chance of beating Roman Reigns?
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted your opinion on that. I don't think so either. I think the person that's going to do it's going to be Cody Rhodes and WrestleMania 39. Roman Reigns has been.
Well, you make a good point, because see, to beat Roman Reigns, he's beatable.
Yes.
I don't think Sammy's smart enough.
No.
To beat him. You have to really outthink him, and I think Cody Rhodes is that guy. He's a thinking man's wrestler. He's very strategic. He's experienced, hardworking, and I tell you what, man, what Paul Heyman said got him so fired up, man. He says, "Your daddy told me you was his favorite son."
Oh yeah. That was.
He always wish he had. I was like, oh, Paul.
Oh.
I thought Cody was gonna throw him out the ring. Man.
Oh, I know. I thought Cody was gonna tear him apart. I really did, because Cody was pissed. But you know what though? Cody did the smart thing. You know what he did? He said, I'm coming to get your boy, at WrestleMania. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. He sent him a message and he told him, take it back to Roman Reigns. I'm coming to get him. So, I thought the best one of them all on Monday Night Raw was the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley thing. He suckered Bobby Lashley into that contract. Brian made him come out, and I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. And then he not only F5'd them once, he F5'd them twice. And what's interesting now about Brock, he comes out with that smile, but then you get him pissed off enough, man, he'll get so mad, he'll just beat you to crap. You know what I mean? It's crazy. All right, tonight we have 2 top 10s here. Let's see here. All right, here we go. 10 top 10 wrestlers who were glad to leave the WWE. And we're going to start at number 10. You ready?
Yeah.
Big Show, number 10. Number 9, Justin Gabriel. He was with that Nexus group, and he wrestled here and there, back and forth between NXT and WWE. Wasn't real happy. Got released in 16 or 17. He's with Impact now. He's doing quite well for himself. The Revival, number 8, now known as FTR. Rumors are circulating. They're coming back into the fray. but we're going to find out what's going on with them. Number 7, Sting. Sting said that one of his biggest regrets was coming to the WWE. He wasn't used properly, and then he had that match with Seth Rollins, and he got hurt, and in WrestleMania, and so he wasn't able to wrestle for a little while. Doctors there wouldn't clear him. He finally decided to get back in shape. Went to AEW. He says he's being treated like royalty there. He says AEW has a lot more respect for their wrestlers than the WWE. So there we are with Sting on that one. Number 6, CM Punk. What do you think of that one?
Wow.
That we're glad to leave the WWE. Cody Rhodes. Well, Cody Rhodes is back, but he was glad back years ago to leave because he wasn't being used properly. They had him as Stardust and Break Dust and whatever dust, and you know what I mean? They had him doing that for a little while. And, he wasn't being used well. Batista, number 4. Number 4, Batista. Number 3 is Chris Jericho. Number 2, Bryan Danielson. Well, then he was known as Daniel Bryan. He says he loves AEW. He says if he wants to finish his career there, he'll never leave. He says he likes it there. He gets treated. Chris Jericho the same way. He gets treated with respect, and he's able to do more there. And number 1, Dean Ambrose, now known as Jon Moxley. He's the other one. All right, let's talk about the Elimination Chamber real quick. Smokin' Jim, as of right now, there are only 4 matches. The Elimination Chamber women's match, and you have the men's Elimination Chamber match as well. You have Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley at this time. Who do you think Austin Theory can reclaim his title in this chamber? Or you think it's going to be too much for him?
I think he can do it.
Yeah. And you know what? As much as I really don't like him, I think you could be right. I mean,
A-Town down, bro.
Yeah. We don't stick his foot in his mouth. Seth Rollins has been in a few of these chamber matches. So we'll see what happens with this as well. Who's your pick for the women's match? And whoever wins gets Bianca Belair at WrestleMania.
Man, that's going to be tough. Who you got?
Well, I think it's going to be Shayna Baszler. I'd like to see her do something now. I really would.
Okay.
She's on her own. She'll have Ronda Rousey running all over the place with her and, and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got Natalya in there too, and you got Carmella. So, it's a real good field of people who have been in this match before. And, Asuka's in it. So it's going to be a situation where it's going to be a tough field. It's really going to be tough to determine. Bayley, I believe Bayley's in it. So, we're going to have to see how this goes. And you know what? I actually believe Bayley could do it too. I'm thinking Bayley, but I want Shayna Baszler, but I think it could be Bayley. So, we'll see what goes on with that. All right, next top 10 we're going to talk about is the most overrated wrestlers of all time. Now, what I want to tell you, everybody out here, and I want to tell you, Smokin' Jim, is that this top 10 was done on Twitter. It's a Twitter top 10. Okay? So these people who have said that some of these wrestlers are overrated are people who may not like this wrestler. Okay, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Number 10, Ryback. I think he was overrated. He never really did much. You know what I'm saying? Right. He tried.
Right.
Here, this one's a shocker to me. Number 9, Charlotte Flair. What do you think? I think that one's...
Wow.
Yeah.
There's somebody that don't like her.
Something, man. Yeah.
She's special.
Number 8, Alberto Del Rio. What do you think?
Yeah, that could be on the list.
I think he was overrated because he kind of stunk up the joint a little bit with a few things, and then he got involved in some domestic stuff, made himself look bad, and then, and stuff like that. So, number 7, Nia Jax. Yeah, overrated. She kind of stunk the joint up a little bit too. Got beat a few times by some people she shouldn't have got beat by. So she was overrated. They had her in some key matches, Smokin' Jim, and she lost. I mean, it was just, Number 6, Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I think Bray Wyatt's overrated.
Wow.
Despite the fact he won he won the Universal title at one time and then lost it not too long to Goldberg. And you're not going to believe who's on this list here. The next top 5. You ready?
Yeah.
CM Punk. Number 5, CM Punk. The Ultimate Warrior. You know what?
Are you serious?
That's what they have here. I thought the Ultimate Warrior was not overrated. I mean,
yeah, me too.
In the 90s, he kind of took a fall. And then he got out of wrestling and he started going out doing public speaking and talking about how wrestling stinks. And, here's a guy. And I tell you what, he took a lot of heat from a lot of people, Hall of Famers, veterans, and all that. Here's a guy whose living was wrestling, and he didn't show up for events. And Vince McMahon said he had no choice but to fire him. Okay, I watched a documentary about him called "The Rise and the Fall of the Ultimate Warrior," and I got to tell you, it was interesting because Vince McMahon came straight out and said I had to fire him because he didn't show up for matches. And then he tried to hold WWE in a stranglehold. Well, if you don't give me more money, I'm not coming to work. Okay. So, here we are with that. And that's what happened there. Next, number 3, Ronda Rousey. What do you think?
I don't agree with it, but I can see where somebody would say that.
Yeah.
Because, she wrestled, then disappeared, had a baby, then came back, and now she disappeared again. But that's like saying Brock Lesnar is overrated.
Right. Well, he's not on this list. Number 2.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just comparing.
Oh, yeah.
The two because of the star appeal.
Yeah, well, not only just the star appeal too. She don't hang around for too long. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, even when she wasn't pregnant, she didn't stay around very long.
Yeah. I could see it. Yeah.
So number 2, Bill Goldberg.
Holy heck! How in the world can he be overrated?
Well,
are you sure? You sure you're reading the right list, brother?
No. Here's what the thought process was when I found this out. Okay. Back in WCW, and this is the truth. Despite the fact he had the longest undefeated streak in the history of the WCW, okay? If a match went beyond 5 minutes, he was horrible. Okay? I mean, he won the match, but he couldn't go beyond 5 minutes because he always would fight everybody. Just like he was always fighting everybody, like Wardlow. Okay? I like Wardlow. Wardlow's downfall in AEW is his matches are too quick, and he's not a very good technical wrestler who can go beyond a certain time frame. You see what I mean? Okay. Mm-hmm. And that was Bill Goldberg, Bill in the WCW. And then I watched a match in Saudi Arabia a few years back that he did against The Undertaker. It was one of the worst matches I ever seen him in, and The Undertaker beat him, and he was horrible in that match. Okay. Because the Undertaker's going to take it more than 5 minutes. You understand what I'm getting at? And if you watch the Goldberg Lesnar matches, he took Lesnar out within 5 minutes. And if it went beyond 5 minutes, he was in trouble. And that was said about him in WCW. So that's why he's at number 2. Now, this one you're really not going to believe. Somebody really goofed on this one. You ready?
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Somebody really has a personality problem with Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
You know what I mean? For that list. Okay, tonight we're going to get into our Where Are They Now segment. And tonight we're going to talk about Shawn Michaels. Okay? Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. All right? Real name Michael Shawn Hickenbottom. He was born July 22nd, 1965. Better known as ring name as Shawn Michaels. He's a retired professional wrestler. He signed with the WWE as the senior vice president of talent development, regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He's known by nicknames The Heartbreak Kid and the Showstopper and Mr. WrestleMania. Let's see here. His spouse says he was married to a Teresa Wood. from 1988 to 1994, ended up in a divorce. He's now married to Rebecca Kersey since 1999. He has 2 children, and his family is Matt Bentley, who's a cousin and a wrestler. And I remember Matt Bentley, who didn't do all that great. But his ring names are Shawn Michaels, and that's been his ring names forever. He got started with Marty Jannetty in the team, the Rockers. And, they were in the independents for a little while, and then they worked their way up through WCW and then in the WWE. He's billed from San Antonio, Texas, trained by Jose Lothario. Jose Lothario is a really great wrestler. He debuted in October 10th, 1984, retired March 28th, 2010 was his official retirement. He also was former WWE or WWF champion from 1988 until his first retirement in 1998. And then he performed non-wrestling roles for the next 2 years, returning his wrestling career with the WWE in 2002, ceremoniously retiring in 2010. He returned for a final match in 2018. In 2016, he began working as a coach at the WWE Performance Center, and from 2018 as a producer for the WWE NXT, is currently the Senior Vice President of Talent Development and Creative, who oversees creative aspects in the NXT brand. In WWF, WWE, Shawn Michaels headlined pay-per-views between 1989 and 2018, main eventing in the company's flagship annual WrestleMania 5 times. He was the co-founder and the original leader of the successful stable D-Generation X. So Michaels also, which I didn't notice until now, he wrestled in the AWA, where he was founded the Midnight Rockers with Marty Jannetty in 1985. After winning the AEW World Tag Team Championship twice, the team continued to the WWE as the Rockers and had, within the year, Michaels twice challenged for the WWF Championship and won first Intercontinental belt, heralding his arrival as one of the industry's premier single stars. Michaels is a 4-time world champion, having held the WWF Championship 3 times, WWE World Heavyweight Champion once. He is also a 2-time Royal Rumble winner and the first man to win the match as the number 1 entrant. That's changed pretty much, I think, over the years. The first WWF Grand Slam champion, 4th WWF Triple Crown champion as well, and 2-time WWE Hall of Fame inductee. Once with DX, one as in his own singles competition as a 2-time Hall of Famer. As a singles wrestler in 2019, as part of D-Generation X, Michaels won Pro Wrestling Illustrated Match of the Year. He came back for a ceremonial match in 2019. One of those Return to Raw kind of things I think him and Triple H did. And his match against John Cena on April 2007 was ranked by the WWE as the match ever aired on the company's flagship Raw program. The number 1 match ever. So there you are, Shawn Michaels. Now, my next question to you, Smokin' Jim. I think one of his better matches, even though Bret Hart got screwed, what do you think about the his match with Bret Hart in the Montreal Screwjob?
Ooh, well, I tell you what, man. You're talking about a living legend in the Generation X.
Right.
I mean, those guys were, football players. Everybody was mimicking their play. I remember LeVon Kirkland. I used to do it all the time with the chop to the crotch, man. And just great. Still great. Still doing great things. And so it definitely was a few controversial matches in his career.
Oh, absolutely. And then he left for a little while, was hurt, had a back injury, came back for a little bit, and he became a born-again Christian. And he said that saved his life because he was into drugs and alcohol and all kinds of stuff. Paul says here in our comment section, Michaels also started in Texas All-Star Wrestling with first partner Paul Diamond, known as the American Force. Thank you, Paul, for that information. So, all right, Smokin' Jim, any final comments tonight about anything here on Talking Wrestling? Anything you want to say, talk about, or whatever before we end?
Well, you're the best in the business, brother.
Thank you very much.
You
appreciate
got it all in. You got it. I don't know how you get it all in, but you do.
Oh, absolutely. And get this, everybody. We have more wrestling for you tomorrow night. We have it for you. 7:30, 347-205-9631. National broadcast of Blog Talk Radio with myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, and Mark Mancini. We will be talking wrestling and sports, and we're going to have a good time with it. Still talk about the Super Bowl, some of the coaching changes, and we'll talk about some of the stuff we talked about tonight. And I'll have some updated information for you tomorrow. You never know what I'm going to have. I might even have some videos or whatever, some reports. You never know. It happens. I mean, we've gone from this show, Smokin' Jim, to tomorrow night's show, and I had all kinds of different stuff because it all came up in one day. I mean, it's like it just all happened, you know.
Very true.
You know, all kinds of breaking news could be happening and going on in the wrestling world. You just never know. It's like any other sport. And so thank you for watching once again. I want to thank those who commented and thank you all for watching tonight's Talking Wrestling. Don't forget tomorrow night, Blog Talk Radio, once again, with myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, 347-205-9631. And join Smokin' Jim and I every Wednesday night, 7:30, right here for Talking Wrestling. Have a great one and be safe.